Now, when it comes to Fiverr, it may be hard to navigate through, or if you're just a new seller or a new buyer, you may not know what exactly to do. So in this video, I'll be showing you how to use Fiverr, not only as a seller, but as a buyer as well. What is up? I'm Brandon Young. On this channel, I teach you how to make, save, and invest money. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, over the past couple of years, I've been known to dabble with Fiverr. It's a great way to make some extra income, and it's also a great way if you're a small business to get some things completed. Now, I've looked on YouTube. I have not seen that many tutorials on how to do it or use it, so I decided to make my own. Now, in this video, like I said, we're gonna first go over the buyer section because I feel like that part is a bit easier to go over. There's not that many moving parts. And also, if you have not yet started using Fiverr, I'll leave a link down below so you can go ahead and get started and get signed up. So let's head over to the computer and get started with the buyer section. Here we are at the buyer section, and we are gonna go over how to buy gigs and get started on Fiverr if you are a buyer. Again, guys, if you are new to Fiverr, I will leave a link down in the description so you can go ahead and get started on Fiverr. Now, when you get on here, you're gonna be greeted by this beautiful home screen. And typically, I've been searching for like drop shipping stuff, drop shipping ads. It'll show trusted sellers that I've used before or people related to some of the things I've bought in the past. So up here, firstly, you'll have your different types of categories. We have it from graphic design, digital marketing, writing, translations, video animation, music and audio, programming and tech, business, lifestyle, and they just added a gaming section. So that's pretty cool. Now, ultimately, what you need to do is when you get started, you're going to want to head over to, go to a niche of what you want to get. So we'll go to game design. Now, typically, what you want to do is when you're about to buy a gig, what I like to do is I typically look at the rating. The rating says a lot. Almost with everything that you do, you want to go by the rating. You want to read some of the comments and some of the feedback people have gotten. But typically, you'll go in and you'll be able to see, okay, if you're buying something, typically there's a basic, a standard, and a premium amount. So you can go ahead, check the prices. You can see right here on the bottom, it will show typically how long it takes for them to deliver that product. And also you can compare the packages to see, which one works the best for you. Now, also, if you are a buyer and you're about to buy a gig, like I said, you want to go ahead, check those reviews and see what people are saying about them. So this guy has a 4.8 rating. He's done about 66 gigs, and the feedback is pretty good. Got 5 stars, excellent work, amazing work again. So typically, if I were to buy something, I would use this guy because his ratings is good, his prices aren't too bad, and he has a lot of good feedback. Now, also as a buyer, sometimes you may have a certain task that you want to be done, but you can't get it done, or there's not really a category for it. So typically what you would do is you would go or picture and you would press post requests. Now typically what happens here, you would pretty much put the service that you are looking for, and you can attach files here. You can attach photos. Maybe you have a video and you want to have a video that is made the same type of way. You can attach that too. You would try to choose the best category that relates to whatever gig you're trying to post, and you can basically put if you place the order, how quickly you want it to be done. So the quickest is 24 hours, and you can put 7 days, 3 days, other, and then typically you would put your budget for that service. So this is great for, sometimes we don't have exact gigs on there that relate to what we're looking for. So we can typically make a description of it, and we'll have basically people or sellers that can, bid on the gig that you're actually trying to get, which is awesome, because you can typically get it for a cheaper price because you're getting a lot of people bidding for your business. Now, also, the next section that we have as a buyer is the messaging section. Now, honestly, you're only going to be using this area mostly if you're a seller, and, buyers typically use this to get in contact with the person who is doing their gig. There's not really much to it. It's just a messenger, like a chat box. So you got your inbox, you talk to people and you messaging them, and you also get your notifications here as well. So typically you can get updated with, the duration of your gig, see what's going on, see what's happening, see if things get delivered. And then next we have the community tab. And typically what this is you can see events that are happening. So maybe you want to go ahead and go to a community event, and they might have something close by you. You can go ahead and register for it. It's pretty awesome. I've been to 2 of them, and you get a lot of great information. It's not only for sellers, it's also for people who like entrepreneurs and stuff that are just looking for advice from other entrepreneurs. So it's great. You can just typically see what cities that they're in. You go ahead, look at that, and you can see what events they got. And they also have, they have a lot of stuff on there. They have a blog, so you can typically get advice for different things. Maybe you're looking to start a business, promote a business, scale your business. They have a lot of useful information on here. So it is really good to go ahead and take a look at these sources. They have podcasts, they have events, they got so much information on here. They have a forum, so typically the forum is people talking to each other. They got entrepreneurs, people that may be in the same type of situation that you are, looking to start their business, looking for a logo. So, you have people providing tips, experience, events, the list goes on. So this is typically something you want to, take a look at, because it can really help you in the formation of your business or helping you evolve your business as a buyer. And lastly, we have Fiverr Pro. This is typically, the more expensive version of Fiverr. I mean, you get some really great quality work. You get some exceptional talent. When I say exceptional, I mean exceptional. And pretty much these people are vetted personally by Fiverr. So it's typically people that are vetted by Fiverr. They give them like their pretty much their own section, and you get really great like corporate quality work. So these tend to be a little bit more pricier, but they're way more worth it because you're getting it done by a super duper professional. Not to say that people who charge less aren't super professional, but these people are pretty much like hand vetted, top notch, the top of the top on Fiverr. So yeah. And typically that is mostly it on the buyer section. We also do have orders. So when we get an order or whatever, or when we see we're buying something, you can typically, see what the orders are. You can see what's active. You can see what's missing details. You can see what's awaiting your review. And you can also see what has been delivered. So yeah, there's not much to it, but that is the buyer section. Now, let's lastly go into how you would buy a gig, because I know a lot of people don't know exactly how they would buy a gig. So Typically when you sign up, they do have you put, maybe some credit card information, or you add a PayPal account. Or typically if you are a seller, you can also use your proceeds that you make from your seller account, and you can use that to buy, gigs as a buyer. So that's pretty cool as well. But let's go through the motions right now. So let's say we want to buy a modern Facebook video for your business. And we'll go ahead and continue. Then you would pretty much go ahead, press, if you want extra, and you would press order now. And then you would have to confirm and pay. So pretty much you would put in your information, whether you want it from your personal balance or whether you want it from your PayPal account. I'm not going to go ahead and buy this, but typically all you would have to do after this is press place your order and it would go through. So yeah, pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do. Now, if you have any questions about the buyer section, be sure to go ahead and leave that in the comments section below. But without further ado, we're going to get into the more lengthier part, which is going to be the seller section. Now, we are on the buyer section. Now, please, before we get started, please ignore my bad, rating and stuff. I do have a new account because I typically couldn't keep up with this account because I pretty much got sick and I haven't been on Fiverr for a while. So I've been trying to get in contact with this guy for a while, but he hasn't been answering. But typically when you are a buyer on Fiverr, what you want to go ahead and do is you're going to get started. You're going to go ahead and make your own account. And typically what I say, I'll give you a little tidbit, a little tip here. When you are going into a certain niche, you want to have that niche embedded into your name. That is one of the biggest tips that I can say. So on Fiverr, typically what I do, I'm a spokesperson. So typically what I did, I made my name related to what niche I'm in. So I made my name Spokesperson B. And typically that helps you with the ranking and etc. But we're not going to go too much into that. I'll make a separate video on that. But typically when you are a seller, this is the dashboard and this looks pretty new. I'm not really used to seeing this. We never really had this. It looks like they've just updated the website. So this is great. But typically what you'll see here, you'll see your name, you'll see your response rate, delivered on time, and your order completion. It'll show you typically how much you've earned in that month. It'll show you your response time. It'll show you how much you have in your inbox. Now, next thing that we have up here is the messages. Typically, we don't really have to go over that, but what messages is you're talking to whoever's buying your gig. You're talking to whoever wants, your business, or who wants you to do the gig for them. So it's pretty straightforward. Your orders, you get to see exactly, what orders you have. You can see what's priority. You can see what's exactly new. You can see the status of them, and you can see what's active. You can see what's late. You can see what's delivered. You can see your completed orders, just in case somebody might need something old from one of your old orders. You can go ahead, pull it out, and you see your canceled, and you can see your starred. So pretty straightforward. Now with gigs, typically what you can see is you see your active gigs. You can see your pending approvals. You can see, requires modification. But what I'm going to do right now is teach you how to make a gig. So typically when you want to make a gig, first off, you want to head over to the gigs section. We're already here. Then we will create a new gig. Now, first thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and give it a nice title. Now, typically, even before you start doing this, what you're going to want to do is you want to go to the search bar and you want to go and see what people like, depending on what your niche is, you want to go ahead. So let's go back to the buying section for example. And you know, we'll search, if we're gonna do logo design, we'll search logo design. We want to see basically what other people are putting in as their title, and we want to, you know, copy that a little bit, because typically if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if they're doing good with it, you'll probably do good with it. So typically, to get a better idea of what your title should look like, just take a look at the title. So you can put in, I will design a creative minimal logo. So that seems pretty cool. So we're gonna go back over to selling, and we're gonna go ahead and make a gig. So we're gonna create a new gig, put I will make a minimal logo. Sorry if I can't spell right. Now, then you would pick your category. So typically logo design is under graphic and designs. And then other thing, you can go ahead and put in, you know, the style of logo you want to design, you know, hand-drawn, mascot, and then search tags. Now, this is something that is very important because it's typically like Fiverr SEO. So it's gonna help you get found. So you want to put tags related to whatever you are trying to, you know, get searched for. So typically with like YouTube and stuff, they have SEO as well. Well, Fiverr has it as well. So the best way I would say to go ahead and do this is to basically piggyback off what other people are writing. So typically with tags, you just want to put something related to whatever your gig is. So if it's logo design, obviously one of the tags will probably be logo. And you know, they have this auto complete section, so you can typically just put that in and it lets you pick up to 5 terms. So be sure to use all 5 terms, and we'll go ahead, press save and continue. It's going to save your gig. You'll go to the next part. And typically what you're going to have to do here is put in your price, and you'll have a basic, a standard, a premium. You can name your packages, you can describe your product offering, and you can choose to press revisions and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead, fill this in, and then go to the next part. But it's pretty straightforward what you'll be doing here. Now, next thing we have up here is the description. So you're briefly going to describe your gig. You're going to describe what you're going to be doing. So I'll just put in going to create a logo design for you. Prices are 5, 10, 15. Then you can put in, you know, I'll make it within a couple of days. Now let's see if they allow you. You can save. It has to be at least a couple characters long. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this in and go to the next part. Yeah, so I put some dummy text in there, but you get the point. And then also you can add some frequently asked questions in there, just in case, you know, you might have a question that gets asked a lot. So you might want to put that there. So say if someone asks you for your logo design, do you do only black and white? You can just type that in. Do you only do black and white? And then you can write your answer, which is no. And then you can add it. And then you have a frequently asked question in there to help the people who need a gig. Now, I think I might have put too much words in here, so I might have to delete some. I think that's good. And then we'll save and continue. Now, the whole gig creation process is pretty straightforward, guys. So now the next thing we have is the requirements. So if you need a requirement for your logo design or whatever gig, you will just put it there. So say you have a logo design, gig, and one of your requirements is, please tell me what colors you need. So they will have to answer. You'll have to make this, you can make this answer mandatory, and you can also put an answer type. So it can be a free text, it can be a multiple answer, or it can be an attached file. So this is how you would get them to attach a file. Maybe they need to add a picture or video, and you would just add it. So then we'll press save and continue. And then the next thing is we have a gig gallery. So typically if you have a thumbnail, you have a video that you want to add to your gig, typically what you would do is you would put it here. And if you want to create a video or get someone to create a video, you can go on Fiverr and do that, or you can actually have me do that. I'll put a link in the description down to my gig to have your video made by me, because videos on average tend to get about 40% more views, more clicks. So very, very good for you to have a video. So after this, you'd be able to publish it. I'm not going to publish this because I probably won't be doing logo design. I'm not good at logos, but obviously you can see this is how you create a gig. Now the next thing we have on this list is analytics. Now, analytics are very important because you can basically track how you're doing. You can see how much money you're making for the month, how much you've made in total, and you can basically see, how your sales are doing. You can see, a graph of how much orders are coming in, how much are late, how much are on time, and you can see the average selling price, because obviously if your average selling price is way higher than what you sell your item for, maybe you want to increase that price. And then you can also see your seller level. So typically you start off regular, and then you have level 1, level 2, and then top rated. Now you can see your response rate, your order completion, your on-time delivery, your rating, your selling seniority, your orders. So typically to get to the next level, you typically have to fill in these bars. So in order for me to get to level 1, I would have to do, a response rate. I would have to keep my response rate over 90. I would have to keep my completion rate over 90. I would have to keep my on-time delivery over 90%. And I would have to keep a rating of 4.7 over the span of 60 days for all of those. So typically that is, not an easy feat to do. I mean, you can accomplish it. I've done it before. Like I've had a top rated account, but I'm telling you, when you get higher and higher, you tend to get more orders, and then it's like hard to keep up with. But if it's a full-time job, I have no issue in like showing you or telling you that you can do it, because you definitely can do it. So this is the analytics portion. Now we also have the earnings portion of the selling account. So you can see your net income, how much you've withdrawn, how much you've used for purchases, your pending clearance. And typically what this is like, say you've just completed an order, you would basically get to see like how long it would take for the money to clear, or you would see, when the money has cleared. So if you had an order here, you would basically see how long it would take to clear, so you can get a better idea of when you would be getting your money, because typically depending on your level, it takes longer to clear. So obviously if you're top rated, it takes a less amount of time to clear, and if you're a brand new seller, it takes about maybe 2 weeks to get your money. Now the last and final things that we have are, we have community. So typically we have events, blogs, forums, and podcasts. We're not going to go too much into that, but it's typically a community. You have events where you can go to, so you can go ahead, see what actual area or place that they're going to be in. And these can be entrepreneurs. These can be like Fiverr superstars that are personally popping up at these meetings and giving you a lot of tidbits, a lot of great information to help you with your online business. So you might want to go ahead and check that out. See if they're in one of your cities, because it's a lot of good information. I've been there before. I'm telling you, the information is great. And they also have a blog. So these blogs give a lot of great information, especially for people who are just getting into the online business game. You're going to want as much advice as possible because, as you know, when you start a new business, you want to mess up the least amount of times as possible. And with these blogs, these events, these forums, these podcasts, you're getting information from entrepreneurs and people who've done it before. So they know the trials and tribulations of how to get over the hurdle. So if you listen to them, typically you won't go through that hurdle. Then we have the More tab. Now, typically what this is, you can promote yourself. So right here, this is something I have not seen before, but typically I guess you can promote yourself right here. So, I guess it lets you create your own badge that you can attach to maybe your website or something. So you can directly get people to click on the badge and, check out your gigs straight up from, using your badge. So that is a pretty good addition. And also something that is very new to the Fiverr game is Fiverr Learn. Now, typically what this is, it's teaching you how to be a better seller. So it can have you enhance some of your skills. You may not be a whiz in logo and brand identity. You can go ahead and look at this course and learn more about it. Maybe you want to get better with social media content strategy. You can go ahead, check this out, and watch the videos and learn a bit more. This is a great addition because sometimes as a professional you always want to get better at increasing your skills, learning more, because as time goes on there's always new things that you can learn. And it's always great to learn in general. Me, myself, I'm very knowledgeable, but I like to always learn new things, especially learning from people that are in your field that may know something that you don't know or specialize in something that you don't know. So that is always great. Now, typically that is the seller section, and it's pretty straightforward. You just got to go ahead, create your first gig, and, start waiting on getting some, customers, getting business in. Depending on how you market yourself, how you do it, you could be waiting, maybe 2 days, 3 days, but go ahead. Like when you get started, be sure to go market your gigs. Don't just stay there and just wait and just think, oh, people are going to come to me. No, you got to go ahead. You got to go and market your gigs. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make a video showing you how to market your gigs and get them out there, because I know when I started, that was the biggest hurdle that I had. But once I started getting the motor rolling and it started going, then I started getting those jobs in, and it was like clockwork. So, sometimes you need that push to get started. Now, I know that video was very lengthy. That tutorial was a lot. But hopefully you learned a lot in this tutorial, that you've learned how to be a Fiverr buyer, or you've learned how to be a Fiverr seller. Now, if you do have any kind of questions related to Fiverr, I'll be surely glad to answer them for you. So leave a comment in the comment box below. Let me know if you're having any trouble with things, and I'll be sure to reach out to you. Or you can go ahead and shoot me a DM on Instagram at I'm Brandon Young. Go ahead, I don't bite, so go ahead and reach out to me. Guys, let's get this video to 1,000 likes. I know that we can do it, so let's get it to 1,000 likes, alright? Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. See you in my next video. Peace.